Oh, you know it's Monday morning. Time to get this thing going. Third junkyard engine seems to work good. Now we got to put coolant in it, but it runs quiet. No knocking, pinging, farting, or ticking. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. We're making it work, and I'm Jimmy. Getting the shop open up so we can start a day in the shop. We got a whole bunch of cars to fix out there in the parking lot. Classic Chevy trucks, European exotics. We got a box truck out there. We got all kinds of things. You know what I'll do? I'll put some clips in right here. Repairs and vehicles you'll be seeing in this video today. Kia Soul. That might look familiar. All right. So we got a beautiful sky behind us, about 75, 76 degrees this morning, a little bit humid, not too bad. Probably going to be well into the 90s, I would guess, at least low 90s today. Haven't watched the weather, but it's Central Florida. Pretty predictable. We basically know what we're going to get in June and July. So you guys saw what's going to happen in this video already. You know before I do. I'm still getting in there and opening the shop up to try to get it going so we can actually make those clips that you saw happen. The magic of editing. We always like to have a good time around here, have a little bit of fun, and try to learn a thing or two. Me and you, I don't know everything. I hardly know anything actually, but maybe I can help you with something. So stay tuned and let's find out. Let's do it. 2016 Kia Soul firing up today. This is in rough shape. 108,000 miles. Not too bad mileage wise, but she's seeing some wear and tear. So it's also got check engine light on. They said it's hard to put gas in it. That generally means canister that's plugged, and sometimes the pellets come apart and contaminate the whole system, makes a big old mess. There's one way to find out. Get the old V-Diag tool on there. My Phoenix Light 2 says 1 day till its subscription's expired. We're gonna all see what happens together with that tomorrow. I'm gonna use this tool today, I think. And as long as I don't need the wireless capability of the Phoenix Light 2, we'll use this. If I can find my OBD2 port, we're in business. That's right, you jive turkeys. You like to keep it under a cool cover, which is actually pretty convenient. Just have to remember that's where it's at, because it's printed on there, but you can't see it. You can't really see it. Uh-oh, this discharged while it was sitting. Once you plug it into a car, though, it'll charge itself back up on the car's battery. Hold the power button a second. Boom. Turn this key on. Matter of fact, let's start it up. 108,704 miles on a love rating of 3. They do have a garbage bag. That's super handy. I don't want to go any lower than that because of the garbage bag. I feel like they're putting in some effort. 3 might sound like it's a little derogatory towards the car, but 3 is really not that bad compared to some of the stuff we see where that gets 1s, 2s, and there's no such thing as a 0, but 1 is basically no effort put into maintaining the car at all, as far as cleanliness goes. The life expectancy on these Kias, as you may know, is roughly 50,000 miles, so it's a little more than double the life expectancy. That doesn't mean the car dies at that mileage. In my opinion, the life expectancy is when the problems start. So maybe I need a better terminology for that, but I could say healthy life. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments what a better term is instead of life expectancy. A more accurate term for when the problems start. Uh-oh, we got updates. Let's do those. Update them all. Now this tool I've only had a few months, so it's still got 2 years on it. All of these tools, I tend to do a lot of scan tool reviews, and when they send me a scan tool to do a review on, I get to keep the scan tool. That's my compensation for making a video about it. And what the heck is he doing? Suspension work. Oh man, look at him. Go, Bill, go. Those Toyotas, the upper suspension arm is held in with a 16-inch long bolt, and it goes towards the radiator. So you either can do about 4 hours worth of work, or you cut the bolt in pieces and pull it out the back, and then put the new bolt in from the back. There's plenty of room from the back. Matter of fact, I think they normally would face from the back. Someone's done lift kit stuff and probably put it in the other way. Anywho, back to what we're doing. We're getting this to talk. We're going to find out why the check engine light's on. Bring up some codes and see what they are. They're probably going to be evaporated codes. and then we'll lift it up, take a look at the canister, see if there's any granules coming out of it. Normally when you can't fuel a vehicle, it's because the canister is restricted or the vent is restricted. There's minor cases where the fuel tank, it also has a vent, and that vent can get the granules in it or just be filled with dirt and things like that, or the valve can go bad. That's pretty rare though. So we'll check all that once we get done with these updates and see what the codes are. Cut the head off that bolt, pull it out the back, arms out, and you don't have to do 4 or 5 hours worth of work taking all the stuff off. When they make these trucks, the body's not on the frame. What do they care? They don't put the bolt in from the other direction because they're not worried about how easy it is for you to fix someday when it's got 250,000 miles on it like that one does. Auto scan. Now we'll just put the new bolt in from the back with a lock nut and a cotter pin. It's not going anywhere. Perfect. Everybody saves time and money. This thing is going to roll through these modules, do a little comunicado. We'll see what kind of codes we have, and we'll go over those. I got the air conditioning on. It's getting a little muggy out today. It's not hot though. It's only like 84, 83. Not too bad for a Floridian. So I might as well enjoy some AC while we do this. Some of the modules, if it doesn't really want to talk, the speed of this tool is really good, but the modules aren't necessarily so fast. Especially non-critical modules, they'll be a little slower, because each component has its own little processor, and that's how they talk. But some of them aren't as advanced as others. Some have like a master's degree, and some didn't make it through elementary school. So that's basically how you look at it. So let's let this cook a little bit, and we'll go over those. That was strange. It didn't want to talk to the ECM on auto scan, so I had to go back through at the beginning, manually enter the vehicle, totally guessed. There's 3 different kinds of soles. I picked the PS in parentheses, I picked USA, and then I picked 2 liter, and now it went in and gave me catalytic converter code and a vent valve solenoid circuit code. So what's probably happening is the vent solenoid is stuck closed, and the computer doesn't see the amperage change when it sends out the signal to ground that solenoid and control it. If nothing changes, it doesn't see the voltage change. That's how it knows amperage or current was used to activate the solenoid. When it doesn't see that demand change, it knows the solenoid didn't do anything, so it sets that circuit code. Super handy dandy. Doesn't mean we won't have to take a look at it to verify it with our eyeballs, but it's definitely where we're headed. Catalytic converters on these things, oh my goodness gracious, and you guys know, you see how many Kias I work on, tons of them. If they've been really well maintained, they'll go 200,000 or 300,000 miles probably, but they're one of the more expensive brands to repair for an Asian brand. Toyota, Honda, less expensive for parts and stuff for some strange reason. It's really odd, but all the mechanics I've worked with have always pointed out how expensive Kia and Hyundai replacement parts are, like an alternator or a radiator, for example. Now, if you can buy them aftermarket, that's different. They seem to price them all more evenly in the aftermarket than they do from the dealer. Anyway, let's take a look at some of these things. The catalytic converter code, like I said too, I've done so many of these, it's a really common failure. And anything but a dealer cat on these, it'll definitely be back with codes in a couple of weeks. So just, you got to get dealer cats. So you also have to be cautious, because if you have a catalytic converter code, you have to wonder, did the catalytic converter go bad, which is the most common cause. But misfires and overfueling and any kind of coil problems, fuel system running too rich, all kinds of things like that, the catalytic converter's working so hard, it makes the catalytic converter go bad. So you got to be careful with that before you sell a catalytic converter as well. And you bring up the O2 sensors, primary and secondary, and the secondary O2 sensor should not be as active as the front O2 sensor. Once the catalytic converter is warmed up, you should see the secondary O2 sensor should kind of level off. That means the cat's working. If you see those 2 sensors following each other, it's like the cat's not even there, and you get this code. Very common on these Kias. So I'll send a report up front, and we're going to lift it up, take a look at that canister and the vent, and see what's going on with that stuff with our eyeballs. All right, report is sent. And you guys know in this tool, one of the only things I really don't like about it, the tool is fantastic, it's been good. The only problem is when I do a report, you got to save it, exit all the way out of the tool, go to the main page, which is right here, and you go to report. You get a report on the main page, and it'll let you send the report you saved when you're in the auto scan, checking the vehicle out and looking for codes in the first place. And like I think I mentioned earlier, if you've seen my other videos, I asked them, why can you not save the report and then send it from the same page? And they said, oh, thank you, we'll make a note of that. But nothing's happened with updates on it yet, so we'll see. Let's get a look up in the air with this thing. Pop this clamp off of here and see if I can blow through this. When it's off, the vent is open. It's the opposite of the purge valve up on the engine. When it's off, that one's closed. When this is off, it's open. Turn it on, it shuts. Turn on the one up front, it opens. Because you don't want engine vacuum unless you need it, and you don't want the sealed unless you're testing. That's how the two work together. So let me get this clamp off of here. We'll see if we can blow through it a little bit. This is a quick and easy thing to test, so nope, can't blow through it. You want to try it? Go ahead, blow. Oh, ready? See? Told you. It's stuck. That's why you can't put gas in it too easily. You tap it on your hand, you get a couple little charcoal sparkles. Don't taste too good, by the way. You could put a piece of hose on there if you don't like dirt like I do, and not blow directly on it. But so I'll probably see if I can have them get that as well. We know what's going on with it. The O-ring side goes in the vent filter. I'm not sure if this comes with it as one piece or not, but you slip that in, and then this little catch goes on there. I'm putting it back together in case they have to order it or the customer doesn't want to fix it. So it all depends what this costs, if there's service bulletins about problems with them. Sometimes there's even a recall and it might be free for the customer. So we'll look into that too, but vent solenoid's bad for sure. So we'll go from there and see what happens with this car. Catalytic converter we talked about. They said they're not interested in messing with that. They just want to be able to put gas in it mostly. So we'll see what happens with this car. I'm going to pull this key around. They had to order parts for it, so the customer's going to bring it back when the parts get in. And the Volvo is here. He wants to change the other 3 coils, do an oil change, and a couple other things that we mentioned last week. So that's what we'll be working on next. That might look familiar if you watch all my videos. We worked on it Thursday, Wednesday last week, I forget. We're working on it again today. He said, you know what? I know my credit card got declined, but I come into some money over the weekend. I want to fix the rest of it. It's really not funny, but he's a nice old guy. He's a little eccentric, but you know, super nice guy, very friendly. A little tight on money. You know, you do the best you can, but these European cars, I know a lot of people love them, especially my European viewers. I love them, and they hate working on Chevys and Fords, I'm guessing. It's all about what you're used to more than anything. But in the US, trying to get parts for these and service information, and some scan tools don't like them here, so it's a whole different world for us. This is probably not a great car to be sinking a lot of money into, but I guess he doesn't have a lot of options, because buying a new car is even more money than fixing this one, right? So everyone's got to make those decisions on their own personal basis, right? What your mechanic tells you doesn't matter, but it's rare for a mechanic to talk you out of fixing your car. I'm just an unusual bird, and I feel for people. I'm like, well, there's a point where you draw the line and you get something else, like a nice Honda Civic or Toyota Corolla. Anyway, we're going to do what we can for him. Change his oil. I'm going to reset his maintenance reminder. Get this thing in auto scan. I might even start it up, but I don't want to get it too crazy hot. It's already been running a little bit. He brought it here hot. He's waiting for it. And we're going to do an oil change. We're going to diag his ABS codes. We're going to put the other 3 coils in, and we're going to see how it runs. I'm trying to reset his maintenance reminder right now. I'm going to automatic scan it. We might as well look at all the modules, make sure there's no codes or anything, which I don't see any. All right. This has a driver information module. You can see right here. Driver information module. Special functions. Oil reset. Turn the ignition on. I think it's on. It says low battery charge power save mode. Let's see what happens. If the ignition is on, it'll do it. successfully completed. Now if I fire this up, I should no longer get my no more oil maintenance reminder. Nice. Now we can actually do it. I wanted to get it out of the way first, just so a lot of times you get in a rush and, hey, can you look at this one? Can you look at this one? And you'll forget. So I don't know, it's a habit I've built up over the years. There's no right and wrong way, whatever works for you, but I tend to put my sticker in and reset the oil reminder before I even do it. Of course, you already got the oil cap off and a dipstick out, so you know you're not done yet too, right? Someone else won't go in and go, oh, look, there's a sticker, you did it, and pull it out. Let's grab a sticker and we'll get under the hood, get this thing in the air, start that oil change. The coils are going to be a couple hours out, so we'll do those whenever they arrive. They'll only take 5 minutes. One of the things I noticed on this monstrosity, no dipstick for the oil. Even though it's a little baby 4-cylinder, they still don't want you playing with your oil level. So you got to use a scan tool. We already know the quantity of oil it takes, so when you drain it and fill it, it's going to be good. But you verify it with the scan tool. This is also pretty good about if the oil level is low. It has a level sensor like with a float on, like a gas tank. And if the oil level's low, ping, big warning on the dash. So you'll be pretty good with that. So there's not much prep to do other than putting the oil cap on a rag and dropping our funnel in there in preparation of some fresh dinosaur blood. So exciting. And you might ask yourself, where's the oil filter and drain plug access hole? Apparently the Swedish automaker has determined, tough cookies, we're like BMW and Mercedes and stuff, and we want you to grab a Torx bit and take this whole cover off so you can get to the oil and filter area. This has a canister filter too, so I might have to let it back down and do that first. I didn't even look to see where it was, but we'll just pop this cover off while it's in the air. Maybe it's down here. Look at that, I'm glad I didn't let it down to look for the oil filter. 17 and a really big jock strap or cup, whatever you want to call it. I don't have a cup that big, so I'm going to go ahead and use my strap that's pretty big. Yeah. We'll get it. This little bend is really cool too. You just put it in there so you can't swing the strap all the way around. Super handy. Once the O-ring clears the housing, we'll get the expected oil flow from it. The O-ring's just coming out of the housing now. It's like this far away. It's just starting to leak. You could pull this out and drain the oil ahead of time, but I find absolutely no adventure in that. Some nasty oil. It's kind of hard to tell looking at it, but trust me, that's pretty nasty. I want to make a judgment call. What's important is we're doing it now. It's not like the Infinity. Didn't go that far overdue. Comes with a new O-ring for this. Man, it's a beefy O-ring too, I'll tell you what. Quite a bit thicker than they usually are. Now it comes with an O-ring for the drain, but I didn't disturb it, so I'm not going to bother with that. And then the filter snaps in like this, and it has a new O-ring on it. Now I'm going to have to put that back on with a tool. It feels like it's tight. That's why it was so tight. It's hard to turn, so it's hard to gauge when it's actually bottomed out. Fast and Furious, bro. Is it Fast and Furious 12, 13? What are they up to now? Well, I can tell it's bottomed out now because it's visibly bottomed out. See how quick that brake clean dries? It's been dripping a while, and sadly, we don't have a new washer. It's very unusual because Volvo decided that the drain plug should be like an inch across. So we're gonna have to reuse it. We don't have a lot of options. To make it up to them, I've been letting it drip for like 15 minutes, and that's about as long as I'm willing to wait. 5.7 quarts of dinosaur blood. You got to be careful too, because as pouring it in, it comes up the valve cover and tries to come out between the funnel and the valve cover. I guess the valve cover can't handle you pouring it too fast. Tapered seat oil filter, oil fill cap. Fancy. I know this may be hard to believe for some people, but we got a broken down Nissan Juke, and customer said all the lights came on the dash and it won't go. The problem happened when they were out of light. I'm guessing CVT transmission problem, but I don't know. Just totally speculation. What the heck's that for? Uh-oh. Someone's a little tiny baseball player. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's just electrical. It's dead. It is dead. Let's get the old... I think I'm going to try that J400 Locathor jump box, that little baby one. The thing's been pretty impressive so far. Let's try it on this. One thing I've noticed already is the battery's new and the alternator's new. But the battery terminals, it's not supposed to do that. But we'll get it in the shop and we'll see what happens from there. Show you what the voltage is as well. Pink 5.4. Uh-oh, flashers are on. Maybe they killed the battery with the flashers. Whoa, that doesn't sound right. It moves. A lot of noise going on. You hear that? I'll try to get it in the shop before the jump box times out. Uh-oh, it's not going anymore. Something bad's happening out there. Whoa. That alternator is coming apart or something. It's smoking. I'm gonna have to get everyone to help me push it in. We may have a few different things going on with this. Interesting. I definitely smell electrical. Let's push it in the shop so I'm not getting a sunburn out here, and we'll figure it out. That is the strangest thing ever. We pushed it in. It smells like the belt is melting or the alternator or something. I wouldn't be surprised if this has more than one problem. This is a 2013 Nissan Juke, and the mileage on her is check tire. I will. You can trust me. I will check it. But first I want to see how many mileages it has on it. And it doesn't want me to know. Now the battery's probably going dead again. Alright. Let's lift it up. We'll give it a love rating of 4. And we'll take a look and see what's frozen on the belt and pulley system. Alternator, compressor, water pump, something. We're gonna get to the bridge and then we'll cross it. Get that belt off of there. Oh, that's not supposed to be like that. So the compressor clutch has locked up and destroyed the clutch. So it has, what do they say? Pooped the bed is the family-friendly way to put it. So with the belt off, we'll put a battery charger on it. All right. Me and Rob put the engine in this thing and got it running. So it's looking good, running like a top. We got the roof stuff pulled down because we're going to fix her washers for her too. She's got like zero money. She actually took out a loan to fix this engine. This is the car that got 4 salvage engines. This one works good, quiet, runs great. Put 2 tires on the front too, which I didn't think she was going to do, but apparently we're doing them. Kyle's out. He's got problems with a bunch of broken teeth, getting infected, so his face is swollen. He actually went to the hospital emergency room, but I don't think he's coming in probably most of the week. So we're gonna go ahead and knock this out because she has to have this car back. It's been 3 weeks trying to find a good junkyard engine for it. But we gotta do an alignment, make sure she doesn't shred these new tires up. And I think this is about a 2006. It used to be a Pontiac Grand Prix or something. Now it's a G6. It's a 2009. Yeesh. With a love rating of 3. And a good running salvage engine, so that's nice. Brand new tires. Let's do a quick alignment. We got 12 psi in the back tires, so we go and fill them up. We know the front are good. We just mounted them. Alignment rack is capable of airing up tires, because before you do an alignment, you should always check the air pressure. Luckily, a lot of modern cars, you can look at the dash and see what the air pressure is, but not on this one. Oh, that right rear tire had good air pressure, just the left rear didn't. But you have to do the air because when the air pressure is low, the car sits weird, and that'll affect the alignment. Now, this car is old school. You can see it's asking me to roll the car forward now, so I don't have to be in it really. We'll just go ahead and roll it up onto the plates. I can't really see the screen too good from here, but it should be about right. When it's happy, it unlocks the turntables. Now it'll probably want some more information, which is why I didn't climb into it. Hydraulic steering. Harley Davidson, baby. I gotta put the brake pedal depressor on, turn the wheels left and right, so it'll measure steering axis inclination. I know you're upset, don't worry. Now, a little lefty, a little righty, back to the center. Oh, no wonder why I'm hungry. It's almost lunchtime. Actually, it is lunchtime. Get out of the way of the rear heads. Oh yeah, uh-oh, the rear's out a lot. The rear might be shims though on this car. I'm not sure if it's independent or if it's an I-beam. It's got like an L-beam or whatever you want to call it. Connecting both wheels, and it's designed to twist and let itself move around independently, but you can't adjust them without putting shims and stuff in. So let's take a look and see how that adjusts. Oh, it shows a wrench. If this took shims, it would show a picture of a shim right here, but it shows a wrench. So let's look. So it is independent, which is cool. I'll be able to do those adjustments. Let's look underneath the vehicle and see what size wrenches we're going to need. The toes, the total toe's not really out much, but the thrust angle's out because this right rear wheel, it exaggerates it to give you an idea what it looks like, but it's really just 1/3 of a degree, and this one's 1/4 of a degree, 4/10. But the two combined are 1/10 apart. So we'll lift it up. It's 2 adjustments. This one's probably going to do mostly toe, and this one mostly camber, I suppose. One thing's for sure, when you turn one of the adjustments, you'll figure it out pretty quick. This is the lock nut that tightens the adjustment so it doesn't change, and when you turn the whole bolt, it changes. I need to go positive, which is in with the bottom of the tire, and that will affect the toe. So I should have put it on graph mode, but I think if I keep going, it's going to turn green eventually. I got the toe nice. Let's go up there and put it on graph mode. You'll be able to see it better. I'm going to go ahead and lock this down. I might turn the adjustment and I'll have to get a wrench. Yeah, that's what it's doing. Alright, I got to get an 18mm. This one should do the camber. I was hoping this would affect the camber more, but apparently not. Alright, it's a little tricky on this thing apparently because both adjustments are affecting toe and both adjustments are affecting camber. Just one more than the other. So I'm guessing I got to pull both arms in to bring the bottom of the tire in and then adjust the toe afterwards. That's what we're shooting for anyway. And it's past lunchtime now, so I'm only going to play with it a little bit more before I grab something to eat and come back to it. Camber's getting worse there. I want to go back this way. I'm about maxed out on that adjustment, so we're gonna have to do some with this. I think it's about as good as it's gonna get. I had 1.5 before, but sometimes just rocking the vehicle will change it quite a bit. I think we're gonna have to live with that 1.6 because this is maxed out. That's about that. That is about as good as it's going to get. Excuse me. This is out 1/10 of a degree, so not a concern. Front toe and let her go. Alright, now you can see what it takes to get it 0.3 to greenie. It's -0.3, which was a little too much. Ta-da! Now 2.1. Gotta do the other side. But you guys know we don't go anywhere until it's locked down, right? Someone said in a video over the weekend I was watching, if the building catches on fire, lock that jam nut before you run out. That's pretty funny. But it's true. That's what you gotta do. You gotta lock that jam nut before you go anywhere. That's the point. If the building's on fire, the car's probably gonna get destroyed. It's not as critical. But it still makes a valid point how important it is before you walk away to lock suspension nuts and stuff. Matter of fact, all I gotta do on this one now, block the jam nut. Hopefully it doesn't move too much. One alignmento. We got multiple reasons to road test this car. It's got another engine in it. It had an alignment tires, so we're gonna take this thing for a nice long drive, make sure it's ready for her. She's really anxious and I don't blame her. So let's get this car to her, and then I can go get something to eat. Look at me, I'm withering away. I'm withering away to nothing. So I need a Snickers. Someone's using a big charger, so I got my little baby charger on there. Now that it's been charging for a couple hours, even though it's only 4 amps, it still should help. So let's see. Do I have the keys in this thing? Did you guys take the keys on me? Dang it. Found them. Can't hide them from me. Can't keep me down. Let's see if this thing goes into gear. I got the front tires off the ground. I think this thing just needs a compressor. One thing for sure, if we change that compressor, charge the battery up, fix that loose negative connection, we'll find out. All right, we got new washer nozzles for these things. They go in these little slots here. From the outside, it's got these plastic clips. Just pop them in like this. Now we're gonna patch this up a little bit. All the plastic tubing is broken and stuff. So because she's been waiting a month, we wanted to go ahead and fix this for her too. A little bit of that. And the other one goes down here, and you can see the other washer nozzle down there, and then we can attach the felt. The felt protects the paint from engine heat, kind of like the engine cover does to some degree. And we'll be able to hook this up. I got some extra hose I brought in case there's some of this plastic is missing here. We'll get this hooked up and test them out. And this car will be done other than a road test. Now this is broken, so I don't want the hose to get pinched and broken again. Do what I can to kind of hold that in place without crushing it down too far. I think that'll work. Snug, but not enough to close off the hose is what we want. Let's put this other plastic cap in. That'll also help hold everything up. Let's check these washers out now. I didn't even look to see if there's washer fluid in it. We'll find out. Oh yeah. Oh man. Nobody likes a bragger. Alright. Let's take this thing for a drive. And then we'll see which one they want me to do next. After a drive, this thing has got a wicked clunk when you hit the brakes and let off and stuff. These lower control arm bushings, they have left the building, both sides. So it needs those bushings pretty bad. And I do not believe we're going to be doing any of that today. Got to clean up some of this mess too, but it runs good though. Let them know about these arm bushings. This car's done. It runs really good. Actually, surprisingly well. Yeah, this thing needs some tars, but they want to know about the ABS. And right now, the sensors, I'm going to spin this back tire. Sensors seem to be working. I'm going to spin the other one, and since I don't have wireless, I can't bring the scanner with me, which makes me a little sad. But if I spin this other bald tire and run over here real quick. So those rear sensors are reading right now. It had codes for both rear sensors. I'm gonna have to finish the tune-up stuff. I'm still waiting on the coils. I'm gonna need to get them coils in here, and we'll take it for a drive with that screen up. I'm gonna put it in sleep mode while we wait for the coil. We're doing a lot of back and forth today. I apologize if it's confusing, but we're short-handed again, so Rob had to leave early. Kyle's not here, so we're working on a few cars at one time, Trying to get everyone their vehicles back. This guy's sleeping in a waiting room. He didn't want to go home. He didn't want an Uber, so he brought Katie a dead frog though. He was sleeping on a concrete slab out behind the building, and he came to Katie's office with a dead frog in his hand and said, "Look what I found." Like I said, he's a nice guy, but a little bit odd. I just wish we'd get his coils and we can finish his car up for him. All right, this thing is running like poo-poo. What are they talking about? They said my emissions warning light came on, but it runs fine. It's running like, what's the proper word for a family show? Poo-poo? Dookie? Number 2? Something like that. It's got a misfire and the check engine light's blinking and the emissions warning's on. So it's a good thing I brought my X tool with me. I'm gonna leave the other scanner in the Volvo while we wait for parts, and find out which cylinder's misfiring and figure another one out. Let's take a look at mileage. I bet you it's got some mileages on it. All right. Check emission system. Check VSA system. New turkeys. Information. There it is. Information. Why don't they want you to know the mileage? Tire pressures are okay. You wouldn't think finding the mileage on a vehicle would be very complicated, would you? You'd be wrong. I got all day. I can do this all day. No problem. All right. You don't get the mileage on this vehicle. All you get to know is the love rating is a 5. It's not in bad shape. It's like a 2011 or 2012. I'm going to find the mileage though, and I'm going to let you know, but I'm not going to make you watch for 45 minutes while I stumble and fumble around. 182,204. You know I did it. It's magic. You push the information button till you get to this screen, and then none of these buttons will take you where you need to go. All of a sudden, the steering wheel buttons become completely obsolete, and you go to the dash button, because you always want to stick your hand in the steering wheel to check your mileage and the temperature and the oil life and stuff. 20% left for an oil change. Oil change due at 182,803. Oh, 600 miles to go. Okay. Oh, look at this. 57 updates. I haven't had the OX tool out in a while, but the battery was at 82%. I'm going to do the updates. Then we're going to pull codes and see which cylinders are misfiring. It feels like your common ignition misfire, but feels like in reality aren't always the same. Instrument cluster special function. Seems to be going pretty slow. That's all right. We'll wait. You saw this had misfires on 2 and 4, mostly on 4, a little bit on 2. We're going to do these other 3 coils. I'm just going to pop these things here really quick. What's weird is see how that bend is in it? The replacement coils aren't like that, so you got to be careful and make sure you get them on the plug correctly. Dielectric grease already in them. It's easy, right? Put it down on the plug, and then you tilt it to get the bolt in. See how this thing runs. All right, I am winging this thing. You can hear the turbo spooling up nice. It is turbocharged, by the way. I looked underneath when I had it in the lift. No misfires. I'm gonna go drive this real quick. Try to get him on the road, and then we'll be back on that Honda. Anybody catch what I did? I'm going back and forth so much. I thought I had it on misfire still. I had it on ABS from when I was testing the ABS. So now, let's put it on misfires. We can come back to that pretty easy. I want engine control system. Live data. The misfire screen looks very similar to the ABS screen, oddly enough. I did not feel a single misfire, which is why I rolled with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Custom graph. Alright. That's the screen I thought we were on. That's engine misfire. Now, oh my goodness gracious. The faster you go, the behinder you get. Anti-lock braking. Live data. I wonder if it'll have in memory what I pulled up before or not. That would be cool. No, it doesn't have it. Left front velocity, right front, left rear, right rear. Custom, graph. Let's combine them. That way it's a larger screen. I'm going to set my kickstand out put it on the seat. I don't want to stare at this while I'm driving, but I'll be able to glance down for a second, see if I see a, what I'll be looking for is a dropout or a glitch from the 2 rear sensors that had codes. It's possible some of those codes could have been set at some other time and the problem's intermittent. So let's take this thing for a drive. So far it looks good. We're going to give this a second before we go test it out on the road. Little traffic. Oh, she's a rocket ship, boys and girls. Oh, look at that ABS. Oh my goodness. That is good stuff. You'll be happy. It's got a pretty good brake pulsation. Not horrendous. I felt much worse. But it's definitely a noticeable warp rotor. I know. Look at that thing. All the lines are even. This thing does need tires. It's got a little pull. Feels like one of the tires is slightly bad, but I don't think that's contributing to the minor brake pulsation. I feel could be. See the steering wheel when we roll slow. If it's in a front tire, you can roll real slow in a parking lot, and you watch the front tire move back and forth. See the steering wheel going like this? It'll be repetitive. If it's an outer round tire, the steering wheel will go rup, 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 like that. I definitely feel a little bit of a pull to the right. We all know the tires are bald. Brand new Tacoma. Look at that son of a gun. And an older Tacoma. Interesting. Let's get back to the shop and get him on the road. Alright, the updates are taking a little while. I paused them. Need to auto scan this car, let her work on the estimate, then I'll worry about finishing those updates. Much as that little red dot annoys me, it's gonna have to wait. 2012 Honda Pilot, 16-pin connector. I had to pull out their little insurance dongle to get my scan tool hooked up. I'm gonna say USA, that's where we're at. 2 codes. I think to open this you have to wait, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's going to want to talk to all the models before it lets me open that. This little triangle will show me what the codes are, but we'll give it a minute. And just like the V-Diag tool, I saved the report. Now there's nowhere to send it, right? I can scroll and look at the codes. That's the good news. Cylinder 2 misfire. So now I know where we're going. We're going to take the engine cover off and dig the coil out of cylinder number 2 and see what it looks like. And I'm going to send this report. To do that, I got to exit out of auto scan, exit, 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 exit. And I just don't think that's how it should be, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just picky. Report, Honda. Now I can go ahead and share it now. The share by email button comes up. If you guys have watched some of my videos about these scan tools, you've seen this before. I apologize, but I think it's important. Because even though that only took about 30 seconds, now if I still had diagnostic work to do, I'd have to go back. So the thing I've learned when you're using this tool is to do your diagnosis, figure all that out, and before you go to your service advisor with your diagnosis, then you can send a report right after you've done your diagnosis. To me, that seems like the easiest way. So let's get that engine cover off there and grab number 2 coil. Maybe we'll take a look at the spark plug as well if the coil doesn't show itself. Number 2's in the middle and the back. Probably can't see it from there, can you? Alright, since you're my friend, I'm going to take you in. I'm going to take you in so you can get a peek-a-poo. Look at that rascal. Causing all that trouble. 182,000 miles. It's already broken. Honda junk. Let's see here. It's got a 10. I know that much. I might need an extension. Man, we gonna get some serious rain or what? Feels like 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts out there. There you go. Instead of asking it to come loose, you tell it. Auto repair is easy. Look at that little rascal. Well, it's got a pretty bad misfire. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I don't like the discoloration around there, but I don't see any burn-throughs. These are also bad for piston rings and burning oil and the back cylinders. And number 2's in the center in the back. So we got to keep that in the back of our minds. Race bike. Let's go ahead and pull the spark plug out and have a look at it while we're in here. Hopefully I brought the right equipment. People are having fun with my extension video. I just did it because I thought it was funny, but a lot of people are in there enjoying themselves, which is what I want. I love it. Keep it up. I might have to get a wobbly extension, speaking of having a bunch of extensions, because this won't clear the firewall, but I know it's about the right length. I bet you I got an extension for it. Alright, I put a 3-inch extension on this spark plug socket, and it's barely sticking out of the valve cover. So now we'll get a second 3-inch extension, just because we can, and that way it clears the firewall. Holy moly. Can't say it was a loose spark plug. If I pull this out and it's not oil fouled, it's probably the coil, but burned valve's another possibility on these. Because what happens, the valve seat wears out and you start to get a slight misfire, and if you don't readjust the valves to make sure the valve's closing all the way, it burns the valve and the valve seat. Uh-oh. That's oil fouled. That's what I was afraid of. It's a fairly new spark plug. Let's clean the spark plug off. Or maybe I'll have them get me one spark plug and we'll see how it runs. That's definitely oil fouled, which is a bad sign for the engine. About 182 is what you get on a Honda, I guess. Shorter spark plug for me to throw in there and see how it runs, and if you put a spark plug in and it runs good, it's just oil burning. If you put a spark plug in and it don't run good, it's got low compression. So I thought to myself, hey Jimmy, why not check the compression while you're waiting on a spark plug, and then you'll have a much better idea before installing a new spark plug for no reason. So we'll do this in the meantime while we're waiting on the plug, and if I have good compression, chances are the plug will make it run good until it fouls again. The oil rings on these stick in the pistons from carbon. Even the ones that are being maintained are doing it too. There's a service bulletin about it, and I think Honda might have extended the warranty, I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and crank this over. You tell me if you see good compression when I crank it over. I was hoping wide open throttle would keep it from starting, but it didn't. But I know it's got good compression. So we'll put a spark plug in there and it'll run good for a little while. She's going to need an engine though if she gets tired of replacing that spark plug. 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. I took the liberty of putting it on the rack while you were looking the other way. It's only got 6,600 miles on it to 2021, but it has been severely modified by a handicapped conversion company, and they can't put gas in it. It clicks off constantly, and it was so nice having the wind blow the dirt in my face and stuff. Looks like there's been a little minor oil spill. I threw a rag on it, made me feel a little better temporarily, but what I want to do now is find out why they're having a hard time putting gas in it. And I'm not sure if that's the original tank or not, but I know this whole vehicle has been modified. This is all aftermarket. All these boxes and all the sealant you see, that is all modified. The floor pans are all cut down to fit wheelchair ramps and stuff. And then they put the suspension back on the add-on aftermarket stuff. And this thing sits about as high as you can possibly get a van to sit, but yet it bottoms out because it's about the size of my fist off the ground. So I couldn't get it on any lift but this, and you can't lift it with the regular lifts inside because there's no place to put them. I guess you could go to this frame rail probably if you can get to it, but getting the lift arm underneath this and to push on the frame rail first, it's not easy. I'm not sure what used to bolt up there, but there's open holes in the floor now. What a shame. It basically took a nice van, severely modified it, and now I'm sure it'll have nothing but squeaks and rattles and complaints and issues. But I mean, I guess if you have a wheelchair and there's not much else you can do if you need to move around, kind of a shame. Let's I can see light through the fender wells there. Goodness gracious, the wind is atrocious out here. I'm gonna get a blowgun and blow the dirt off the lifts so I can look around a little bit, try to find out why this is not fueling. Maybe there's something going on with the gas tanks, what I'm thinking. 6,600 miles. Not a lot of other possibilities. Still new. What do you do if you have to drop the tank on this? I guess you can unbolt all them cross beams and then you can get to this regular straps like a regular repair. I don't even know where the canister is on this thing. Probably under this wheel liner cover. Someone's been in here messing with stuff. Probably when they did the conversion, I'm sure. Interesting. I'm gonna put the scanner on. Well, you know what? I bet you I can only do OBD2 on this because it's so new. Someone's scanner here, I think, has been FCA licensed, which is like 40 or 50 bucks, whatever, for the year per scanner. It doesn't go by the vehicle, it goes by your scan tool. You got to pay for licensing. From what I hear, Stellantis is hurting too. They're looking to resell Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep. Jeep's the only brand, the only thing they really wanted, from what I understand. People on the internet are saying. I'm not sure. I might take this wheel off so I can see in there and get that wheel liner out. Let me look up this vehicle. I believe it's a 2021. At least that's what the paperwork says. 5 of 21. It's basically a brand new car. Let me look and see what the paperwork says about, I mean, what the identifix says about where the canister is and the vent and all that. And if I have a clear vent and a clear canister, I know it's the one-way valve in the tank. Vent valve in the tank's probably got a problem. So let's do that, we'll come back. All right, I blew all the sand off the lift. Got me a printout. Well, I blew most of the sand off the lift, look at that. Got me a printout, that's what it looks like. That's the tank we see up there, so that must be the stock tank. And the canister's in here somewhere. So I'm gonna lift it up, get this wheel off of there, and see if we can get this liner out tonight. It's getting kind of late. But I'd like to see if some of these hoses or something's pinched, or, you know, obviously someone's been working in here. Now, I don't know if they were trying to figure it out or if that was part of the construction on this thing. If I grab my 19 and get the jack, we can stop talking about it and do it. Where the hell are the skunks fighting at? Not far away, I know that. Alrighty. Uh-oh, not all 10s. Maybe some are. Listen, man. You guys can't be closing up yet. I'm still working. Quitters never win and winners never quit. They just die young. A lot of plastic nuts holding this wheel liner in. And 4 8mm bolts, just for good measure. All these little studs. There's a bunch of them, and then boom, boom, boom. In the morning, I'm going to need to lower this down. What the heck? I'm going to need to lower this down in the morning and make sure that this ESIM is not stuck and that this filter flows. I don't see any crimped hoses. I was wondering if I might see a hose smashed against something. Or this is the filler neck, and there's a valve in there. It goes through the fuel pump module and vents up this tube through the canister and through the ESIM and out this filter to atmosphere. That way the canister catches fuel vapors, and the theory is all that escapes is pressure. But of course we all know fuel vapors still go through it, just less of them. So look at that extension they put on for the shock. It's where it's supposed to go. We're going to continue on this car in the morning. That was a busy day. We got a lot done today. We got a lot of work, jumping around like a rabbit. I felt like I was playing Frogger, bloop, 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 in between vehicles. I hope you got something from it. Maybe it was entertaining, if nothing else. I actually probably had a pretty productive day. I know I got a few people back on the road, and that feels pretty good. So thanks for watching. Torque the like button before you head out if you would. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Don't forget to check out the Amazon store. It really helps the channel out a lot. I appreciate that support. I hope I see you in the next video, because you're awesome.